So I get emails from bands who want to book time, and a decent chunk of them I have to tell them to wait, which is kind of a weird move when people are actively trying to hand you money. But there's two types of bands that come to me. Ones that are ready for a producer, and one that needs 2 more months. And most bands genuinely don't know which one they are, which is what costs them money. So let me just save you your deposit. And I'm not saying this from some high horse. I've been in situations where we've started from nothing and had the song done in 48 hours. And I've also been in situations where someone's come to me with a song that they think is done, and we've spent 6 months getting it there, and it ends up being a lot more expensive than it should be. Now, this has nothing to do with the artist being good or bad. This just has to do with being prepared. A normal studio is going to be one of the most expensive rooms you will ever write a song in. So done does not mean, oh, let's figure out the bridge when we get there. It's the song is finished. All the arrangements done. We know all of our parts. We're going in. We're finishing this record. And the producer's going to do some magic, and it's going to sound like it belongs right in the middle of all my favorite songs on Spotify. Now, I'm not saying that songs don't get written in the studio. You absolutely can. It's just expensive, and if you can afford to do that, by all means, enjoy your time, enjoy the process. It can be a very inspiring place to work, but you don't want to go into a studio with a tight budget where your guitarist and your drummer both explain the last 30 seconds of the song differently. That's not a producer problem at that point. That's 2 more months of just figuring out your stuff. The second most important thing that when you are going into a studio and you are ready is having someone that has the clear vision and that can make a decision. Having 5 people there with veto power is not a band, it's a committee. And you're having a producer that is now trying to serve 5 different clients instead of one artist or one group. Now, this person doesn't have to be a dictator. They just have to be kind of the voice of reason, the person that can be like, all right, guys, like this is definitely the one. And the best practice on that is just agree beforehand. Like, all right, if we have a weird split decision, Johnny over here is going to be the one who just is like, you know what, this is the call we need to make, move on, get it over with. And you know who that person in your group is, because if you don't, there's the expensive version. You can do 4 vocal takes and redo it and redo it and redo it because everybody has a different opinion on it, and then you guys end up walking out with the one that everyone was just like okay with, and no one had like a great artistic direction on what they wanted. Now, this is the one thing that most bands are really defensive about, and this is not about who's in charge. This is just about, all right, before we start paying somebody by the hour, let's figure this out so that we're not racking up a really big studio bill. And if you're sitting there going, yeah, that's my band, it honestly is most bands, and it's not a diss. I'm literally building a Discord community right now for artists and bands to be able to go in and just like chat with each other about what they're doing on their projects, sharing music, being able to talk about different ideas, and kind of figuring out, well, what does that bridge really sound like? And you can argue with people that are unbiased on the Discord if you want. And I really hope that that can be a good resource for all different types of musicians. So if you're interested, that link is going to be in the description, and it's a easy invite. Now, the third point I'm going to make is if you can't sit down and play through your song twice and it be exactly the same way, you are definitely not ready for a producer. And you probably think to yourself, whatever, man, that's crazy. I could play through my song twice, no problem. You'd be surprised how many people can't do that. You'd be surprised how many local bands I would see, and I hear the song that I think they did really well and it was really cool, and the last time they played it, they did this little ditty here and they changed it completely the second time I heard it, and then the third time I heard it, they're singing the chorus a little bit differently. Like, it's not a knock, it's an artistic expression, but when you're going to record a song and produce a song, you need to be able to replicate it over and over and have no variations. The other side of that, which I'm going to make very adamant, is you need to be able to play it to a click track. It has to be on time, because when you're going into a studio session, majority of the time, unless it's a really weird one-off kind of thing, you're going to be playing to a click track. Producers love and almost have to at this point do everything on a grid. So you need to know what 4 bars are where, what 8 bars are where, how you're playing this at 145 BPM or 80 BPM. Is it too fast? Is it too slow? You have to figure those kinds of things out before you walk into the room. Now, point number 4 is having your references in line, and it's knowing what bands you sound like, who you want to sound like. And now I'm talking actual artists, actual song names. I'm not telling you you have to know how to do it. I'm just saying you have to know what you're aiming for. The producer's job is to be able to figure out how to get you there and how to make the song sound the way that you want it to sound. But if you don't know that, if you only know, oh, I want it to be big or I want it to be heavy, those aren't just things that you're going to fix in the mix. Those are things that you want to go in having a decent understanding of your end goal so that your producer can build the track to be big and heavy. The great part about references is that they're free. I mean, you can literally sit in your car tonight and go through all the different artists and bands that you like and pick out 3 or 4 songs that you're like, man, I would love to sound like that. I would love my band to be opening for this band. That's a really easy way to figure out that direction. All right, now, why does this really matter, especially if you're going into a studio? What does it look like when you are ready and you walk in those doors? Well, instead of sitting there and focusing on arrangement and focusing on vocal takes over and over and trying different things, now you get to focus on sound. You get to focus on all those cool little details that you should be focusing on while you're in the studio. Because no matter how much you prepare, there are going to be performance notes and arrangement notes that only show themselves in a studio environment. And if you have them all laid out ready to go beforehand, they're a lot easier to adjust and twist in the moment. And that's the part that you want to be paying for. You want to be paying for those moments that a lot of bands don't ever get to see because they're just paying for cleanup work. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, that is where I am at. I'm ready to walk into a studio. I have everything set up. My arrangement's done. I know exactly how to play the song that I want to do. Well, then that's when you would send them to me, or you'd send them to somebody else, and you would be able to experience that really fun environment of using a producer to his best potential. Then yeah, send it to me or send it to somebody else. That's the point where it's worth it. Now, the caveat to this whole video is that I started off by saying I have bands email me and I tell them to wait. The reason that I tell them to wait is a little bit different than your traditional studio, which is kind of all the points that we just went over. I do not like doing things by hour. I'm a musician myself. I know how painful that can be and how stressful those environments can be. So I love doing things by project. I just do a flat rate. This is how much your song is going to cost. I kind of look through the notes on what you're trying to accomplish, what the song is, and I give you a quote for your song. So when it comes to me telling you to wait and telling you to refine what you're doing, those are people that have songs that they've played live a few times and they have a general idea of what they want, but when I hear it, it doesn't sound as refined as it should. And you need to wait a little bit longer and make sure all those things are in the right place. My favorite songs to do are the ones where you're like, hey, I have a voice memo. Let's sit down. Let's figure out how to do this, because now we have time. We can just we can sit and talk and figure out where this is going. And that's where your references really come in handy, because if you don't have references, you don't have a direction, well, I can't really help you with that, because this is your vision and I'm only here to help make that come alive. So no matter which direction you're going in, if you have a studio that you're trying to get into, or you want to hire a producer that does things more project-based like I do, I want you to know that this entire list has nothing to do with talent. It's 4 things that you can go sit in your garage and fix for free with your buddies. And almost nobody does, because they feel like the studio is like the finish line and we just have to race to get there. But honestly, it's only the last 20%. So I'd love to know, which one do you think you are? Are you ready for a producer? Or are you in that 2-month window where you need to work on things for a little bit? I'd love for you to tell me in the comments. And honestly, there's no shame in being in that 2-month window. It's cheaper, and hopefully this will save you a lot of pain and money in the long run. Now, I have more of these advice style videos coming, so subscribe if you want. And if you don't, that's fine, but please go fix your bridge.